Do I hate my body right now, today, currently, this very moment in time? Yes. Yes, I do. And that's okay. I'm the kind of ill where you can feel all of your nerve, but for some reason, particularly the nerves inside your face, like inside of your face, and all of my freaking teeth, every single bit of my teeth just feels horrifically alive with the shuddering cold because there is a ball of spiky ice in my chest. And if I am getting another freaking 3-month lung infection again, then I'm going to scream. Not particularly loudly, because you can't actually scream that much when you have a lung infection, I'll be honest. If you're attempting to blow up a balloon or something like also laughing for some reason. I can't laugh when I have a lung infection because then you just start coughing and run around on the floor. But there'll be an attempt. I may even have a temper tantrum quietly because, I mean, I'll probably just be a puddle of goo on the floor. You know, when life gives you lemons, but you've got a chronic illness, so you're too tired to do anything with them. What better time to talk about body positivity? The good, the bad, and the ugly. That wasn't meant to be a punchline, but that's where we're at right now. So, where should we start? What is body positivity? My own personal journey with it, with how I look, or the truly important part, like how I feel about my body. Well, I guess we should break things down, make sure we're on the same page. Hi, I'm Jessica Kellgren-Fozard. Fun fact, I don't have a middle name, although I did used to make one up and pretend that I did have one to encourage my friends to tell me theirs. It was always far more exciting than Jessica. I was born with 2 genetic disabilities. One affects my nerves and the other my connective tissues and organs and I mean blah blah. At least I've got great bones. My bones are actually really strong. I have great teeth as well, very strong teeth, but the rest of me, physically, I would not put money on. Don't back me in a fight. I can't pass a hearing test. I can't see out of one eye. Can't actually feel my fingers. I have limbs that point in the wrong direction. Occasionally, my daily pain level rises so high that all I can do is lie on the floor and moan. And sometimes my jaw dislocates when I eat. That's fine. And you don't need to feel any kind of way about it. You don't need to feel sad for me. You don't need to tell me I'm amazing just for getting out of bed today. It's fine. And you don't need to tell me that I look great. Look at me. I put makeup on. But I haven't washed my hair for a week. Also, I currently have flu, like actual influenza. I've just taken a lot of meds, but it really hurts. But just as a looks-obsessed society, we're so driven to tell someone that they look great, or they're beautiful, or they're dressed fabulously, because we can't even begin to fathom that they could be happy any other way. We tell people that their flaws are beautiful as a way of telling them that their flaws are irrelevant, but no, they aren't. Like, I have a disability and it alters my life. It isn't irrelevant. When I tell someone that it was a struggle for me to get to an event because there was an access issue, I had a brain-splitting migraine, and they say, well, at least you look amazing. What they're actually doing is crushing my flaw down. And I don't want that. My flaws aren't beautiful, but they aren't awful either. They just are. And they are things that I must live with and use. To take them out of the equation is to diminish them and to diminish the fact that I need to find a way that is outside of the normal way of doing things. To diminish the extra creativity that I perhaps had to use in getting to that event, to diminish the extra strength that I had to use to be there. Talking is hard. I did not think that through. But do I need to love my body? Do I need to think positively about it all the time in order for me to live happily? And what even is me? Does my body have to be part of me? Yes. Welcome to another video where Jessica just rants and talks about stuff. It may or may not come together at the end cohesively. But first, an ad break. Let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, Surfshark, our VPN kings. That's very gendered. I don't think VPNs have a gender. Our VPN overlord. Someone help me out here. I don't know. They're up there. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that lets you set your device's location to anywhere in the world. Surfshark encrypts all of the information sent between your devices and the internet and makes sure no one can track or steal your data. I personally love that it works for your whole family because you use one account across an unlimited number of devices, which is perfect for us because Claudia and I admittedly do have some different viewing preferences. We watch some programs together, like The Night Agent or Love is Blind, weirdly addictive. But sometimes, especially being a parent, that quiet wind down time in the evening is vital. Now, if you're a Grey's Anatomy fan like me, you will know season 19, yes 19, is now out in America. But the new episode has not been released in the UK yet, which is really sad times and unfair. My need for escapism. Surfshark has come to the rescue. Just pick a server, connect, and you can stream away. They have 3,200 servers in over 100 countries. Baffling. Thankfully, Surfshark also has 24/7 support, so, if anything goes wrong, they're on it. So, just click the link in the description to, yes, support the channel, but also support your computer. Just head to surfshark.deals/Jessica for 3 months free and 83% off with code Jessica. And if you don't love it, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what is body positivity? Body positivity is a movement to fight against the systemic oppression and discrimination that fat bodies and marginalized bodies experience every day in society. And it has evolved to be about loving your body no matter what, which is what everyone now knows as body positivity, and that the problem, it evolved to be something that it was never meant to be. Body positivity in itself is a political movement. It's about how society and the world treats you. Positive body image and feeling positive about your body is about the individual. It's about how you feel about yourself. It's a systemic issue versus a psychological issue. If someone said people in marginalized bodies should feel positive about themselves and be met with all bodies should feel positive about themselves, and whilst they are right, they would also be missing the point. It is the classic refrain we have spent last summer dealing with of Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. Making a feminist point about women facing one particular type of oppression does not mean that you are necessarily excluding the issues faced by other people who are being oppressed in other ways. So again, we're not talking specifically about the body positivity movement here, which was created by plus-size black women and has since been co-opted by pretty much everyone. Instead, we're going to talk about the pressure on social media to love things, yourself often, and why that isn't always helpful. Now, granted, in the last couple of years, there has been a lot more of a move towards talking about the hard bits, the hard parts of life, discussing flaws. Sometimes it can feel very hollow for me to see pictures and posts of people talking about loving their worst parts of their body when their worst part of their body is cellulite or stretch marks. And when I say that, I don't mean to diminish their lived experience, because obviously we all lead different lives and that's completely fine. But as someone who struggles often with my body, for a long time didn't feel that I had the choice to be anything but positive. I was faced with a lot of negativity, and I think that there's a dangerous line sometimes with the kind of toxic positivity thinking where you have to be happy as a disabled person. And you have to keep going, and you have to be chirpy and that kind of thing. And I've made a video about that before, but in terms of your actual physical self, key things that sort of stand out to me were that I always felt so disconnected from my body as a child because it let me down a lot, and I felt things that other people told me I didn't. So my body hurt a great deal, and I was getting injured in ways that were much more extreme than they should be. I'd fall over on the playground, and where another child would stand up and brush it off and be okay, I'd be like, oh, I've fallen over, I've scraped my knee, and now I cannot feel the skin on my shins at all. This doesn't feel right, and I have a deep bone pain all the way through my knee. This is very, very painful. It's all swollen up. And the adults around me would tell me that that wasn't the case, that wasn't what I felt, or that if something was either very normal or that it was just not what was happening. And my inner thoughts were, if it's so normal, why is it just me? Because none of my friends seem to be experiencing this. If this is not what's happening to me, what is going on? You're saying that I can walk on this foot that I have twisted my ankle and that it doesn't hurt. Yet when I stand on it, it hurts and doesn't bear my weight. And thus I grew up creating a very strange experience with my body. And then having a idea of myself as in terms of just looks became quite low down the list in terms of my priorities, I suppose. People would tell me I was sort of like a pretty little girl, and I'd be like, sure, okay. My hand doesn't work. Do you want to do something about that? And even as a teenage girl, I was a bit like, oh, good. We're talking about wonderful. Yay, the adults have decided to focus on superficial things again. And I've always really enjoyed things like my hair and clothes and all that kind of thing. But I kind of had bigger issues going on. And thus it wasn't a massive thing for me until I started to get really ill in my late teens, and as a result of being quite ill, started to lose a lot of weight. I'll tell you about another video somewhere, have a look if you haven't seen, look through my back catalogue. But I had a lumbar puncture that went wrong, which is the thing where they stick a needle into your spine, sac around your spine essentially, and your spinal fluid, and they take some of your spinal fluid out. And because I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which they didn't know at the time, it wasn't a great idea because the sac around it is supposed to just close back up when you take the needle out. But unfortunately, mine didn't do that, and they'd actually created 3 holes, and that left just 3 holes, and they did not close. They just kept bleeding spinal fluid out. And that gave me a really, really awful brain time. Awful brain time. It was very hard to keep food down because I had really bad vertigo, I guess would be a way to describe it. I couldn't sit up without vomiting, and everything hurt all the time. So my pain level was so high. The hospital gave me these special drinks to up my calorific intake, because they were like, well, you can't take food, we'll give you these instead. But they're so foul that, like, how are they helpful? Because that was the first time that I really created an impression of my body, like a body image, I think, because everyone around me started telling me that I didn't look nice. And I was like, oh, this is not very kind. So I'd see like family members or friends I hadn't seen for a while, and they would tell me, oh, you look really awful. You look too thin. Do you know that? Thanks. This is really not what I need to hear right now. I'm quite ill, and that's why I look bad. Like, I know that my ribs show through at the front. You can count them if you want. Because that was happening, because everyone around me was so insistent on informing me that I looked awful, that my body was so unappealing and so unattractive, I think it made me feel like I had to create a very strong sense of protection for myself, and I had to protect my like little inner psyche from being damaged by other people being rude. And so for a couple of years I was like, yeah, I love everything. Love everything on my body. Brilliant, it's amazing. Even the bits that really hurt, all the bits that are wrong. And then I think over time it just slowly started to not need it. It started to become not something that I was faking. It didn't have to be that I looked in the mirror that day and thought, okay, what is the one thing that I like today? It's my hair. Okay, I really like my hair today. I came to a position of being more in a sense of neutral. I can like things in it and I can dislike things about it, but it doesn't actually bother me. So I have one foot that points forwards and I have one foot that points inwards, like this. And I am neutral about that. Back and shoulders can sometimes look interesting. Visually, I am neutral about that. If you would like to know my opinion about how they hurt me, oh, I have opinions. I really do. I have very strong opinions. So I don't allow myself to feel negative about my body, but I don't love it either. I can't be my body's enemy, and I can allow to be rude about it when I want. I can throw the word wizened around, because yes, that muscle did waste. It doesn't mean I hate it. I'm just more objective. The more I learned about body image, I think the more I realised that when it comes to developing a kind of healthy, long-term idea of it, body positivity doesn't give us the tools to reach that goal. Again, not the body positivity movement has accomplished a ton of stuff, and I am fully on board with the idea of promoting diversity and inclusiveness, especially when it comes to making sure that disabled bodies are seen. I think as a child I did hate my illnesses because I didn't really know what they were and what was going on with me. And then for a while I forced myself to love them because no one else did. And now I'm just neutral because I think that's better. And I think it's better to start from a neutral stance with my body. But if loving your body helps you and serves as a counter, people coming at you, then obviously I do not knock that. A lot of people with chronic illnesses find a huge amount of positivity in looking at what their bodies can do. And that's wonderful, but it's just not how I feel. And I think that's absolutely okay. And that for me is just a healthier place to be. And I feel better for it. You know what? We're all different. We all have our own little journeys. For some of us, it involves never-ending frigging lung thingies. Unimpressed lungs. Thank you so much for listening, friends. I appreciate you. And I appreciate this. And you know what else I appreciate? Surfshark, sponsoring today's video. Do remember to click the link in the description, surfshark.deals/Jessica, and use code Jessica for 83% off and 3 months extra for free. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video, where I will hopefully be a bit healthier and have my voice back to my normal voice. I may even have washed my hair. Bye bye.